So we now invite Dr. Naveed Yusuf, who is from Khan University. He's an associate professor at Department for Educational Development and also serving now as a chair for the Department for Educational Development. He has been associated with the Khan Examination Board as associate director, associate director assessment and research. And he has been associated with Khan University several years. We invite Dr. Naveed Yusuf to present his presentation. The title of his speech is Excellent in Student Assessment, a Lifelong Journey or a Destination. Over to you, Dr. Naveed.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tabassum. Please let me know if my slides are visible on the screen and if I am audible clearly.
Yes, you are. The screen is available, is also visual, and your voice is clear.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I would also like to thank the organizers of the conference for giving me an opportunity to talk to this wonderful audience we have today. So the topic of my talk is Excellence in Student Assessment, a Lifelong Journey or a Destination. I come from Aga Khan University, Pakistan. So this is the aerial shot of the university situated in Karachi, Pakistan. And during my presentation, you will also see a lot of pictures from various areas of the university. So excellence in assessment. So if you want to achieve excellence in assessment or strive to achieve excellence in assessment, you will have to ask 6 basic questions regarding the assessment in your institution or for your program. And those 6 questions are: what is the overall aim of assessment? Is assessment fit for purpose? Is assessment feasible? What is the educational impact of assessment? Is continuous improvement of assessment ensured? And are good assessment practices disseminated? And these 6 questions make the outline of my presentation today. We will start with the first question. What is the overall aim of assessment for my institution or program? So the first question you should ask, do you have an identified, a stated, a written, or an understood aim of the assessment? What are you trying to achieve? So what does this aim look like? It should define the outcomes of assessment in terms of student achievements and competencies. It should clarify the intended purposes of assessment, such as, is it summative? Is it formative? Is it to promote learning? Is it to certify? Is it to admit students to your programs? It should identify the stakeholders of assessment with their roles and responsibilities, and various stakeholders are shown here on the screen. So actually, the overall aim of assessment should be aligned well with the curriculum and the philosophy, and the content of the curriculum should align well with the institutional vision, mission, and goals. And those, I believe we all understand, should be aligned to the needs of the community, region, or the country we serve. And this is what needs to be ensured. We also know that teaching and learning and assessments both should be aligned well with the curriculum, and hence they both should align with each other as well. The next question, is assessment fit for purpose? Let us first look what is assessment. And I see assessment very similar to measurement. Even if we look at the dictionary meanings of the 2 words, assessment and measurement, assessment means the act of judging or deciding the amount, value, quality, or importance of something, right? We look at students' performance, their behaviors, and we try and judge and give them an amount, 6 out of 10 or 83 out of 100, or we give them some quality, an A grade, a B grade, an F grade, or a value on a rating scale or a global scale, as Dr. Shahid was talking about. It also means the judgment or decision that is made. And measurement means something very similar, the act or process of assigning numbers, a process by which things are differentiated and described, a value discovered by measuring. And we all know, and I'm so thankful, Dr. Shahid, that your presentation preceded mine, because many of these concepts were very well explained. So all measurements have errors associated with them. So any score you get regarding your student's performance, be it a written exam or an OSCE, is an observed score. And hidden within that observed score is the true score, which is the true ability or competence of your student, and it includes an error. And that error can be a positive or a negative value. So sometimes the observed score can be higher than the true score, means error is positive. And sometimes the observed score can be lower than the true score the student should get because your error was negative. What do we as faculty and assessors and examiners need to do? A goal should be to minimize the error as much as possible. Our satisfaction should be in the condition that the error of measurement should be a relatively smaller fraction of the range of observation. So minimize error in simple terms. How are we going to minimize error? Two questions will help us. Are we measuring precisely? And are we measuring accurately? Precision relates to reliability. Many of you may have heard the term reliability. And accuracy is related to validity. And I'm sure most of you must have heard about validity of assessments. Let's go into detail. So first, let's talk about precision, that is reliability. Reliability is when you repeat the test on the same person under similar conditions, you should get same or similar results. It is the extent to which assessments can differentiate between different levels of performance. It is the extent to which assessment decisions are free of error. So the higher the reliability, the low the error in your scores. The lower the reliability, the higher the errors. And I'm glad that reliability, KR20 and Cronbach alpha and root mean square error were all discussed very nicely by Dr. Shahid. So the aim of quality assurance of assessment is to ensure high reliability of decisions and low error. Do you remember? We can never attain zero error. We can never achieve zero error. We can never be free of errors. We have to minimize error. And that is why a reliability of 0.9 is considered so good, because we can never achieve a reliability of 1. We can never get rid of errors in measurement. So how do we ensure high reliability? We ensure high reliability through standardization. All our students or candidates should get same or similar examination, similar difficulty. They should be given similar conditions, environment, and time and opportunities to attempt those examinations. We should strive for objectivity in our assessments. We should move away from subjectivity. Objectivity would include very clear scoring criteria, ensuring assessor training and development to reduce inter-rater and intra-rater biases, and avoiding other inappropriate variances or sources of error, such as inappropriate environment for an OSCE exam, noise in an examination hall, misprinting of questions in a written paper, grammatical errors, missing information on figure in a question. These will all include inappropriate variance and error in your exams. Now let's talk about accuracy, which is validity. So a good assessment must not only be reliable or precise, it should be valid. A valid assessment measures what it is intended to measure. It has to be aligned with your curriculum. It should be aligned with your learning objectives or outcomes. It should ensure that if you have learning outcomes and objectives pertaining to different domains, your assessment methods should match those different domains. You cannot have a written exam for assessing psychomotor skills. You have to have aligned, appropriate, validated assessments for different competencies, such as for teamwork or problem solving or communication skills or others. Reliability is a prerequisite for validity, but it is not sufficient in itself. So all assessments and assessment scores must provide evidence for both reliability and validity. And this is how you actually ensure validity of assessments. It has to be tightly coupled with your curriculum. And of course, both teaching and learning and assessments should be well aligned with the curriculum and learning objectives. Is assessment feasible is a third question. Feasibility of assessment means that they will have to be practical, cost-effective, however, more importantly, acceptable to all stakeholders. And it must ensure readiness of your students and teachers. So there will have to be faculty development in assessment, how to develop these assessment items, how to implement these or administer these examinations, how to score these examinations, examiner training, and students should be oriented about new assessment methods so that they know what is expected of them. Please remember, decisions based on feasibility cannot supersede those based on validity. Regardless of the feasibility, you must ensure validity of your assessments. Our next question, what is the educational impact of assessment? So, the educational impact is effect of assessment on student learning. I will give you an example. If your written examination papers only assesses factual, rote learning, the students will only learn factual information. They will only rote learn and prepare for the examinations. If your assessments target problem solving, clinical reasoning, application of knowledge, then your students will change their learning behavior. If you will not assess skills, students will not go into the wards. If you are not assessing attitudes, the student will not focus on improving their attitudes and behaviors. And this is what we complain every day, right? Many of us I've seen talk about how the attitudes and behaviors of the students are declining. But let's look at our assessment systems and feedback systems and remediation systems. Do we have assessment and feedback and remediation for attitudes? Most of us, including myself, would say no, or mostly no. And that is where the problem is. Going further for educational impact and also to ensure fit for purpose, map the student journey through series of assessments. We know we have 4 years, 5 years, 6 years medical dental programs. What is the journey of students across these assessments? As we also map the journey of teaching and learning, do we have a mapped journey of assessments? How do assessments evolve as students move from one module, one semester to the other, and 1 year to the other? What is the balance between formative and summative assessments? Do we have enough formative assessments? What is the timing and amount of assessments? Have we inundated students with assessments? Or are there almost no assessments till the end of the year? Both extremes are not good. Are we doing standard setting, which is scientific way of setting up a passing score? I think the keynote in the morning when talking about the curriculum talked about standard setting. Why 50% is the pass mark? Dr. Shahid also talked about borderline regression and borderline group methods of standard setting for OSCEs. How does your assessment support and facilitate teaching and learning is another important question. Specifically, how does formative assessment is facilitating learning? How are we providing feedback to our learners? And how effective is the system of support and remediation in our institutions? The second last question, fifth question, is continuous improvement of assessment ensured? So as Dr. Shahid said, this is not a one-time exercise. Every time you run your assessments, you get your scores, you will have to look for indicators of reliability, difficulty indices, mean scores, standard deviation, standard error of measurements. So every time you should have your expert developed faculty or department or unit to look into this. So it's a lifelong process. It's not a destination. Let me give you the answer. It is not a destination. You will have to march. You will have to walk through this pathway every day of your life. It's a lifelong process. And then there should be internal evaluations and periodic external reviews. And have you recorded, have you found, searched for, researched, and recorded evidences of quality of your assessments, the reliability, the evidences of validity, alignment with your exam specifications, the review of items, and how are you improving based on such measures and indicators? The last question, are good assessment practices disseminated? To ensure excellence and to make sure that you keep on improving is also important that you help others improve. You share your information. So what is the process of innovation, scholarship, and dissemination at your institution or for your assessment programs? You can disseminate good practices of assessment at the institutional, national, regional, and international level. Presentations, workshops, symposia, paper presentation, editorials, anything at all. And there has to be a commitment to scholarship and innovation. This is the summary. I'll keep this slide for a few seconds for you to review. This is what we have discussed today. The 6 important questions. And thank you so much. You please feel free to ask questions here or write to me. My email address is given. And also this article can be helpful for further information. This is a journey, a case study of 3 medical schools from across the country: Aga Khan University from Pakistan, Southern Illinois University School of Medicine from USA, and Leeds University Medical School from UK. 3 different regions, 3 different schools. How did they achieve excellence in student assessment? Thank you. Over to you, Dr. Tabassum.
Thank you so much, Dr. Naveed, for